The doorbell rings once, sharp like a warning. I smooth my black dress and breathe through my smile. Leela enters first, glowing with that effortless confidence I never had. Her perfume floats between us, sweet and salty like a lie. "You've outdone yourself," she says, eyes scanning the table. "6 seats, I thought you said 8. "Plans changed," I answer, hanging her coat. She shrugs, pretending not to care, but curiosity lingers in her tone. Then comes my mother, Margaret, wrapped in emerald silk. Her eyes sweep the room before she even greets me. The old china, how sentimental. Her smile carries the weight of judgment disguised as grace. "It was grandmother's favorite," I reply softly. She hums, already inspecting the forks like a museum curator. Every visit begins with correction, ends with condescension. Tonight will end differently. The next sound is the front door opening again. Eric's voice carries before his face appears. "Sorry I'm late, traffic was awful." His cologne hits me first. It's mixed with something floral, something familiar. He kisses my cheek, too light, too careful. "Perfect timing," I say. Inside, I count the seconds between his glance and Leela. Too quick, too practiced, too intimate. Tara arrives next, breathless and bright as always. She's carrying 2 bottles of wine and a stranger. "This is Ben," she says easily. "He's helping tonight." No one questions it. Ben smiles politely, quiet and steady. Only I know he's a private investigator. He takes his place near the kitchen like part of the furniture. The play has begun. Wine is poured. Voices overlap like background music. Leela talks about her boutique expansion. Mother praises her, glowing with pride that never belonged to me. Eric adds something about business trips and creative inspiration. Carmel Valley slips from his lips like a ghost. Leela freezes for half a heartbeat before recovering. "Yes, Carmel is beautiful," she murmurs. I watch her fingers tremble just enough to notice. The sound of laughter fills the room, brittle and sharp. I nod, smile, play my part. The perfect hostess. The perfect fool. Every word, every glance, every pause becomes evidence. Mother clinks her glass. "Family means everything," she declares. I almost laugh. The irony could drown us all. Eric squeezes my shoulder. Leela avoids my eyes. Tara catches my gaze from across the table, steady and knowing. I glance at the clock. 8:59. 1 minute left until the truth steps into the room. Ben shifts his weight near the door ready. The candlelight flickers across our faces. Mine calm. Theirs unaware. I raise my glass slowly. "To family," I begin, voice soft as silk. "And to the kind of honesty that changes everything." The air stills. The second hand reaches 12. And the performance ends exactly as planned. The room holds its breath. Ben steps forward from the kitchen, voice calm and firm. "Mr. Eric Miller, you've been served." The words drop like glass on tile. Eric blinks, confused, then laughs too loudly. "What is this, some kind of joke?" I press the remote in my hand. The television flickers to life. The hotel lobby appears in perfect color and sound. Carmel Valley Lodge. Eric and Leela walk side by side, his hand resting on her back. Her laugh fills the speakers. Mother's fork clatters against her plate. Leela goes pale, eyes wide, lips trembling. Eric stands frozen, every excuse dying on his tongue. No one speaks. Only the hum of the chandelier fills the silence. I set my glass down carefully. "You said you were in Sacramento," I say. Eric's jaw tightens, searching for air. "Anna, please, it's not what it looks like." "Then maybe the receipts will help," I reply. I open the folder beside me, sliding papers across the table. Bank statements. Transfer records. $72,000 moved from our joint account into Leela's company. Leela shakes her head, tears sliding down her cheeks. "It was a loan," she whispers. "I just needed help." "A loan you never planned to repay," I say. Mother straightens in her chair, mask snapping into place. "Darling, money among family is complicated." Her tone drips with practiced control. "Do, darling me," I answer quietly. "For 3 years you all lied to me." Ben clears his throat. He pulls out his phone and presses play. A familiar voice fills the air. Mother's voice. "We need to keep her calm. She can't find out about the trust fund." Then Eric's voice follows. "She trusts me completely." Mother's laughter echoes, cruel and certain. She always preferred comfort over truth. The recording ends. Leela sobs openly now. Eric's face collapses into disbelief. Mother rises, shaking. "That recording is illegal." Ben steps between us smoothly. "It was recorded in a public place," I say. "Perfectly admissible." Eric looks at me as if seeing a stranger. "How long have you been doing this?" "Long enough," I answer, "to realize none of you ever loved me enough to tell the truth." I gather the documents back into the folder. The weight feels lighter than it should. Leela reaches for my hand, but I pull away. Mother's lips tremble for the first time I can remember. "Anna, please, you're destroying this family." I look at her, steady and clear. "No," I say, "you already did." The candles flicker in the draft. No one moves to relight them. The silence stretches, thick and endless. For the first time in years, I breathe without shaking. The performance is over. And the truth has taken its place. Morning light seeps through the curtains like judgment. The house feels too large, too quiet, too exposed. The dining table still bears the marks of last night's war. Shattered glass. Stained linen. Silence heavy enough to bruise. My phone buzzes nonstop on the counter. 16 missed calls from Mother. 9 from Leela. 3 from Eric. Each voicemail begins the same way. "Anna, please, we need to talk." I delete them all without listening. Tara arrives with coffee, her face unreadable. "You look terrible," she says. "I feel alive," I answer. She nods once, like someone who understands more than she should. Outside, the world keeps spinning. Inside, mine has stopped pretending. By noon, rumors have already reached the neighborhood. Mother told her tennis club, "I'm having a breakdown." Eric told his colleagues, I violated his privacy. Leela's boutique page went dark overnight. The truth spreads slower than lies, but it never dies. I open my laptop, needing distraction. Work used to steady me. Now the words blur on the screen. Emails flood in, full of concern and pity. A message from my boss asks if I need professional support. Mother's phrasing, recycled through someone else's mouth. They want me small again. Predictable. Silent. The thought makes me laugh, sharp and short. Tara watches quietly from the doorway. "Let them talk," she says. "They've lost control of you. That's what scares them." I sip the coffee she brought. It's bitter and grounding. Eric's lawyer emails next. Threat of defamation. Claims of illegal surveillance. The words blur into noise. He's scared too. I can smell fear even through a screen. By evening, I walk through the house collecting pieces of my old life. Our wedding photo. The framed invitation from the ceremony. His handwriting on the back of a birthday card. Each one feels foreign now. Artifacts of a stranger's story. I drop them in a box, seal the lid, and set it in the garage. Not trash. Not treasure. Just finished. The phone rings again. Mother's voice on voicemail, trembling but precise. "Anna, sweetheart, families make mistakes. Don't destroy ours over a misunderstanding." I almost smile. Even her guilt sounds rehearsed. I turn off the phone. The silence that follows feels clean, almost holy. For years, I believed peace meant keeping everyone happy. Now I understand peace means not caring if they are. I sit by the window as night folds over the city. Tara stays until the lights of dawn return. Neither of us speaks. We don't need to. Something old has ended. Something stronger is beginning. And this time, it belongs only to me. The microphone glows red in the dim light. My hands hover above the keyboard, steady at last. I take a deep breath and press record. Welcome, I say, voice calm and measured. My name is Anna Miller. This is my story. Each word feels like pulling a splinter from my skin. The truth, I continue, is not revenge, it's release. The room holds its breath as I speak. I tell them about the dinner, the lies, the recordings. About how betrayal hides best behind love. I keep my tone even, factual, almost clinical. No names, no accusations. Only patterns and choices. Tara sits across from me, silent support in her eyes. When I finish, I hit upload. The file travels out into the world, carrying my voice with it. I expect regret. Instead, I feel weight lift from my chest. By morning, the podcast has 50 messages. Strangers writing, thanking me for saying what they couldn't. Women, men, all describing quiet betrayals that mirrored mine. Their pain becomes a chorus. And I am not alone anymore. Tara brings coffee and a grin. You started something, she says. The next episode comes easier. I invite a psychologist to talk about gaslighting. We discuss manipulation disguised as care. We speak of doubt planted slowly until it blooms into silence. I share moments word for word. You're too sensitive. You remember wrong. No one else feels that way. Listeners flood in by the thousands. The podcast climbs charts overnight. Eric's lawyer sends another letter, full of empty threats. Mother's friends whisper about me at charity lunches. Leela vanishes from social media. For once, I don't chase explanations. Their noise can't reach me here. Ben calls with updates on the investigation. The bank confirmed missing funds. Eric's company has questions he can't answer. Justice crawls, but it moves. I record episode 3. This one about financial control. How power hides in numbers, in joint accounts, in guilt. Tara listens while editing, shaking her head. You sound fearless, she says. I finally am, I answer. The downloads pass 100,000. Emails turn into news requests. People want interviews. They call it a story of empowerment. I call it breathing. Each episode becomes a brick in a wall of truth. And behind that wall, I build myself again. Late at night, I listen to the first recording. My voice trembled then. Now it doesn't. The story has changed shape. So have I. What began as exposure becomes healing. What began in fear becomes freedom. And for the first time in years, I sleep without locking the door. The email arrives just after sunrise. Subject line, Family Matters. Mother's words spill across the screen, polished as ever. Anna, we need to talk. Let's fix this before more damage is done. Her tone is gentle, rehearsed, poisonous. I stare at the blinking cursor for a long moment. Then I reply with one word. Coffee. We meet 2 days later at a quiet cafe halfway between our houses. She arrives exactly on time, as always. Beige dress, pearls, a picture of calm regret. Thank you for coming, she begins, voice trembling just enough. I've made mistakes, but I've always loved you. I let her talk. She weaves sentences like silk, guilt dressed as affection. Every pause calculated. Every tear perfectly placed. When she reaches for my hand, I don't move. Her purse buzzes on the counter. The screen lights up. A message preview flashes before fatting. From Leela. Did she believe it? We need to stop the podcast before it ruins everything. I look at my mother, her face still arranged in practiced sorrow. She doesn't notice I've seen it. I stand slowly. "Excuse me," I say. "Restroom." In the mirror, I meet my own eyes for the first time in years. Calm, clear, unbroken. When I return, she's dabbing her eyes with a tissue. "Please," she whispers, "let be a family again." I slide my coat on, smiling faintly. "Don't bother crying," I tell her. "I already recorded your best performance." Her face freezes mid-expression, eyes wide, mouth half open. "There's no recording," I add. "But maybe there should be." I walk out, leaving her with cold coffee and colder silence. That night, a letter from Leela arrives. Thick paper, expensive, smelling faintly of coconut. Her handwriting tilts right, just like always. "Anna, you've always been more than a sister to me. I'm sorry." I read the first line, nothing more. The words blur into static. Excuses dressed as memories. I take the letter to the fireplace. The flame catches quickly, edges curling into black. Some truths don't deserve to live on paper. They deserve to burn. Tara watches from the couch, eyes wide. "Are you okay?" she asks quietly. I nod. For the first time, yes. Ash drifts upward, light as forgiveness I'll never give. I turn back to my desk, open my laptop. Episode title, False Reconciliations. I type the first line. Sometimes, the apology is just another lie. Tara smiles. "You're really doing it," she says. "No," I reply, voice steady. "I've already done it." The flames die down behind me, but the air feels cleaner. The past still smolders, but I don't. The story moves forward. And this time, I own every word. The final episode begins with silence. I sit before the microphone, breathing evenly. The red light blinks, waiting. "Welcome," I say softly. "This is the last chapter of my story." My voice sounds calm, almost foreign. Today, we talk about rebuilding after betrayal. I speak of pain turned into purpose, of loss that becomes direction. Tara listens quietly across the table, nodding. The studio smells like coffee and clean air. No ghosts linger here anymore. "The foundation you thought was solid," I say, "might crumble. But what you build afterward belongs entirely to you." When the recording ends, I click upload. The sound of the file transferring feels like release. Ben calls minutes later. "The investigation's complete," he says. "The bank confirmed everything. Eric could face charges." "Thank you," I answer. He hesitates. "You did what most people only dream of. You got free." Freedom, I think, doesn't always look like winning. It looks like breathing without fear. Tara pours me another cup of coffee. "You're done with them, aren't you?" she asks. "No," I say. "I'm done letting them define me." We sit in the quiet hum of the room, letting that truth settle. Days pass. The world keeps turning, but slower somehow. I donate to a legal aid group for victims of financial abuse. I name it after my father, the man who raised me with honesty. The check feels like closure written in ink. The following morning, I jog through the park. The air is cool, the world gentle. Strangers nod as I pass. For the first time, I nod back. My shoulders no longer curl inward. I no longer shrink to fit their comfort. 1 year later, the house feels new again. The walls hold laughter instead of secrets. Photos line my desk, Tara at our pottery class, Ben at the ribbon cutting. Each face a reminder that family can be chosen. Mother's name appears sometimes in small-town news. Charity boards, canceled galas, quiet disappearances. Leela works retail now. Eric lives in another city. I feel nothing but distance. Not revenge. Not pity. Just peace. Some people fall. Some people learn. Their lessons are no longer mine to carry. Evenings draw me back to the beach. The same waves that once drowned my thoughts now whisper calm. I hold a small wooden box in my hands. Inside lie old symbols, a hotel receipt, a ring, a Christmas card. I bury them in the sand as the tide rises. No ceremony. No tears. Just release. The ocean takes them, piece by piece. I walk away lighter, cleaner, whole. At home, I open my journal. Peace isn't forgetting, I write. It's remembering without bleeding. I close the book, smiling at the quiet. The story ends here. But I don't. The morning sun spills across the ocean like forgiveness. Waves crash softly, steady and sure. I walk barefoot along the sand, each step lighter than the last. The air tastes like salt and beginning. Seagulls trace circles above me, careless and free. Somewhere behind me lies the woman I used to be. The one who waited for approval, for love that hurt to hold. She's gone now, buried with the lies she believed. I stop where the water meets the shore. The tide kisses my ankles and pulls back, gentle as breath. In the distance, laughter rises from strangers. It doesn't ache anymore. Peace has found a permanent address inside me. No apologies needed. No forgiveness owed. Just balance. I close my eyes and let the wind lift my hair. The world feels wide again, possible again. I whisper goodbye not to them, but to who I was. When I turn back toward the city, the horizon glows gold. A new day waits. And for once, I'm already home,